Hi everyone, Dave here, East Rosebud Fly and Tackle in Billings, Montana. Today I'm going to tie for you a fly called Pat's Rubber Leg. This is a variation of the girdle bug. Different color chenille, different color of the legs, sexy floss. Stoneflies are an important part of the fauna in our western streams. Worldwide there's an estimated about 1,550 species. About 400 of them occur in North America. And in Montana we have about 120 different species that range anywhere from 5 millimeters long, which is the winter stonefly that typically emerges in January and February when the snow is still on the ground, all the way to our large salmon fly, the California stonefly, which can reach 3 inches. The smaller stoneflies like the early winter, the summer browns, greens, olives, typically have a 1-year life cycle. The larger stoneflies, like the salmon fly and our golden stones, have anywhere from a 3-year life cycle, and in the higher, colder headwaters, it can take 4 or 5 years for these stoneflies to mature. My point is that the stoneflies are always present in all sizes, from the tiny little blacks all the way up to the first, second, third year larvae or nymphs of the larger stonefly. So a stonefly pattern is always a good bet to be fishing. A copper john, which I think is also an excellent stonefly pattern, is one that I'll be tying for you at a later time. So what we're going to start out with, typically you want a 3 or 4x long nymph or streamer hook. This is the Dairiki 710, the TMC 5263, also a 3x long. And because stoneflies live on the bottom and rarely will they let go of that, you want to make sure that you're fishing this on the bottom. So we're going to weight this with some .030 wire, which is what you would call standard weighting. The wire is about the same diameter as the hook shank. Of course, you can go lighter or you can go heavier. I start here about the point of the hook, and we're going to put 12 wraps. This will leave us enough room both at the head and the rear of the fly to tie in our materials. Make sure you get the tag ends nice and compacted, and make sure that, I say, you have room both at the rear and the head of the fly. I'm using 6/0 Vivas thread brown. We'll start behind the hook eye and then bring our tag end back along with our thread, kind of lasso that lead. That will allow us to wrap over the lead without our thread wraps falling in between the lead wraps and spreading that out. And we'll make a simple taper here with thread on both sides so that we have a nice smooth transition when we tie in our materials. Alright, we'll stop with the thread here at the back right over the hook bar. Now I'm using for the legs a medium-sized copper sexy floss. You can use rubber strands. Unfortunately, rubber rots, and in time you look in your fly box and your Pat's Rubber legs won't have any legs on it anymore. So we're going to tie the first one, and your strand should be about 2 hook shanks long. Go ahead and cut off 5 of them. I'm going to wrap the rear one, fold it in half, like so, and then we'll tie a folded half at the very back of the hook. Tie it down tightly. This particular stonefly imitation has 3 sets of legs and a pair of antennae. Where you put the legs on the shank of the hook is really not important, just as long as you space them out. And with these legs, all I'm going to do is X-wrap them in place. We'll take a couple of wraps of thread and then split them over the top of the hook shank. Don't worry about the angle that they're sticking out. We'll modify that when we wrap the chenille. Come up a short ways and tie in another set of legs. Again, simply the halfway point on your leg, a couple of wraps, keep it on, and then a couple of X wraps to secure it and to spread them. And then we'll do one more set of legs here right in front of our lead wraps. This is a simple pattern to tie, and yet it's very durable, has lots of action, which is important on any fly. Now we're simply going to weave our thread back between all these legs until we're at the very end of our lead wraps. What I'm using is just variegated chenille. This happens to be light olive and dark brown, but there are a lot of different color variations that you can choose. As always, when you cut your chenille from the card, stretch it good. This helps to make the fibers stand out perpendicular to the cotton core and gives you a nice fluffy body. And you want to make sure anytime you're using chenille to peel some of the chenille off so that you get at the cotton core fibers. That way you ensure that you're tying the chenille down. A couple of wraps all the way to the base of our tails. And now we're simply going to bring our thread, spiral wrap our thread back up to the head. Make sure you don't trap any legs. And we'll stop about a hook gap or so short. Now we'll make one complete wrap at the base and then just wrap forward, keeping your chenille tilted slightly back. Will make sure that your wraps are nice and compact. Make sure you have a wrap of chenille directly behind your legs and another wrap directly in front of it. This will help to lock those legs in and also give you a nice full body. Continue to wrap forward, don't trap your legs. And again, on this set of legs, we want to make sure we have a wrap directly behind it and a wrap directly in front of it. And then our last wraps will be right in front here. Tie off your chenille with several tight thread wraps and clip it off close. I like to go ahead and make a bit of a head here to make sure I have the chenille trapped. And then the last set, which will be the antenna, we'll do identically to the tail. Fold your piece of sexy floss in half. This time I'm going to tie it in with my offhand. Lay the loop here on top. It helps if your thread is flattened, that way you can make a soft loop. Tie it in tightly. Go ahead and make a bit of a head here. And then we'll whip finish right behind the eye. Simply lay your thread along the fly, pick up these antennae to move them out of the way, and do your standard 3-wrap whip finish. I'll do it twice so I don't have to use cement. There you go, Pat's rubber leg. Remember, these stoneflies are in the streams year-round in a variety of sizes and a variety of colors. So tie up some Pat rubber legs, try some different color chenille, some different color legs, and fish them any time of the year. Thanks for joining. As always, if you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to call us. Thank you. Bye.